Hey everyone, we've got our first Player of the Week pack from eFootball 24. As always, I'll put timestamps in the description, so if there's a particular player you want to hear about, you can just go straight to the description, click on their name, and it will take you straight to them. So let's go straight into it and see who we've got this week. I'll start as always with the lowest rated. So we've got Machis from Cadiz in La Liga. So this is the only 4-star this week, but this is actually a decent card, I think. He's a whole player. He can play left midfield or left wing. He can also play right wing, or he can play through the centre as an SS or a centre forward. The first thing I think about if he's going to play centre forward is attacking awareness, and that's 76, which for me is not good enough. I know he's a 4-star, but let's be honest, there's no filters for playing 4-star matches, so kind of irrelevant. So I don't think he's going to be good enough to play as a centre forward. As an SS, not only is the offensive awareness, or attacking awareness I should say now, not only is that important, but passing as well. If you're playing SS, get involved in the build-up. His passing is not great, so you're looking at playing out wide. He's not got pinpoint crossing. His lofted pass isn't great, so I don't think he's going to play wide right. So that leaves wide left, which is what they're considering to be this week. He's a wide left whole player. So you look at the important attributes: pace, outstanding; balance, fantastic; on the ball, his control is not great. Tight possession is kind of the similar. It's not great, but dribbling is really good at 90. And then you look down here at finishing. He's got 81 finishing, so he can finish. And then you look at his skill set: long range curler, long range shooting, acrobatic finishing, first time shot. One touch pass will compensate to some extent for the fact his passing isn't great, but with those shooting skills, he's got some dribbly stuff as well to go with the fact he's got great dribbling and fantastic pace. As a wide left player, he could actually be very effective. I think this could be a decent card. He doesn't have super sub, but he could be someone you could have on your bench, especially when you bear in mind he's only got 73 stamina, which is not great. So I look at this guy and I think as an option on your bench to come on and play wide left when you want a goal in the second half, he could be really effective. So yeah, it's got his weaknesses, but I think he could be a pretty effective card, this guy. Then we've got our goalkeeper, Chevalier. So this guy isn't bad, actually. Compared to a lot of the goalkeepers we're getting Player of the Week. You're going straight to the goalie stats here. 86 awareness, 84 reflexes, 89 reach is tremendous. Most goalies, even 5 stars, tend to be a little bit weak with the catching or the parrying, or sometimes both, but he's into the 80s for everything, so he's pretty solid all round. The one weakness he's got is jumping. 69 jumping is poor, so you could see him struggling with crosses, maybe with lob shots, high shots. He's 6'2" though, so his height's okay. So yeah, the jumping is a concern, but apart from that, he's a pretty solid keeper, to be honest. He's not bad. Like I say, compared to most of the keepers we're getting Player of the Week, I think he's a decent option. And then we have Singo from Monaco. This is an interesting one because it's one of these players who normally plays a different position. He's a right back, but they've got him down as a centre back because he played, I think, on the right side of 3 centre backs this week or last week. It's interesting because whichever way you play him, he's got 3 positions he can play, and he's got some pretty obvious weaknesses in all 3 positions. So we'll rule out right midfield for a start. Right midfield, he's got nothing down here. He's not good enough on the ball. He's not got end product. You look at his skill set. He's got a bunch of defensive stuff, but nothing going forward. So we can rule out right midfield straight away. As a right back, looking a bit better. You know, he's lacking interception, and that's the one key skill that he's missing, interception. That's an important one. He doesn't have crossing as well getting forward, so he'll be a defensive right back. Like I say, you're going to miss interception, but especially at centre back, which is what they got him down as with the destroyer play style as well. Missing the interception skill is a bit of a bummer. And then you look down the middle as well. He's only got 1 defensive attribute in the 80s, so he's defensively weak. There's no way I would ever play this guy as a centre back. So issues in every position. I think, to be honest, the one position where he'd be most effective would be as a right back, and if you would be using him as a very defensive right back. Fantastic pace at right back. Physical contact very high as well. Defensively, it's still not great, but you can get away with it more if you're playing him as a right back. You will still miss that interception skill, but I think, to be honest, if you're going to play him anywhere and get any use out of him, it will be right back. down this column. Again, like I say, as an attacking right back, that's not really good enough. As a defensive right back, you'd probably get away with it. If you're just going to put him at right back and just use him as a blocker to kind of combat your opponent's left-sided forward, if they've got someone on the left who's getting in behind you, someone like Mbappe, someone like that, the fact this guy's got great pace and physical strength, he could be effective for you. But like I say, he's got some obvious weaknesses, and especially as a centre-back or a right midfielder, I just wouldn't even consider him there. So not a great card, but if you do get him, like I say, I think right back is the one place where he would be the most useful. Then we have Ferguson from Brighton. So second week in a row, they've given me a player who tortured me at the weekend as a Newcastle fan. I'm not just being salty, but this isn't a great card for me. Centre forward, the obvious ones, attacking awareness, finishing, both excellent. So that's a great start, but on the ball, he's a little bit lacking. Passing isn't great. His pace is okay. Physically, he's not weak, but he's not the strongest either. And you look at his skill set, all he's really got as a striker is first time shot, long range curler. So he'll take his chances for you, but he just doesn't really have a lot more to his game, to be honest. And the fact he's a deep lying forward as well. As a deep lying forward, he's not going to be making as many runs in behind the defence. And with him dropping a bit deeper into to get involved in the build up a bit more as well as a deep lying forward, you look over here, and again, the fact that he's not great on the ball, his passing's not great. It's a bit of a disappointing card for me. I would have preferred if he was a goal poacher. I think it would have been more effective. But yeah, like I say, he's still going to take his chances for you. It's not a bad card, but it's just not a great one. So a little bit disappointed for me. But I think especially if you're a Brighton fan or if you're Irish, you could be very happy if you get this guy. And then we got Danilo. He makes another appearance in Team of the Week. This time he's down as an extra front man and a centre back. So this is a similar one to Singo, to be honest. I think this is a better card than Singo, but the problem for me is that you can either use Danilo as a fullback or a centre back. If you're going to play him as a fullback, I don't think he's quick enough. I don't think many people would want to risk someone at fullback with that pace. But if you play him at centre back, there are two concerns for me. Number one, he's an extra front man, so he's going to wander forward quite a lot and try and get involved in the build-up. I don't personally like that. Some people do. So if you're okay with that, then you know he might be a good card for you. But the other issue for me as a centre-back, physical contact, 79. I think a lot of people sleep on how important physical contact is for a centre-back. It's so important in those physical duels. So for me, there are concerns for both the ways you can use this guy. I think I'll be more concerned about him lacking pace at fullback. As a centre-back, maybe you can get away with the physical contact. He does have pretty good pace for a centre-back. But yeah, and the jumping and the heading, you look at his skill set, he doesn't have heading or aerial superiority, so he's going to be a bit lacking in the air and a bit lacking with that physical contact as a centre-back. So there are some weaknesses there that you've got to keep in mind. If you can deal with the lack of pace at fullback, he's got a great skill set for a fullback. You know, interception blocker, sliding tackle. He doesn't have man marking, which is a shame. Pinpoint crossing is great going forward. Yeah, he could be a useful card, but like I say, whichever way you use him, there are some weaknesses you need to keep in mind there. But otherwise, yeah, he could be a useful card. He's not the best Danilo card we've had. Then we have another player who's been in Player of the Week more than once. Kubo. He's down as a right-sided forward this time, prolific winger. Again, he's got different positions he can play, but down the middle, the fact that you can play attacking midfielder SS with this guy, the first thing you're going to look at down here, as an attacking midfielder, his passing's not good enough. As an SS, not only is his passing not great, but the attacking awareness isn't great either. So you then look on the right-hand side, which is where they've got him. They've got him down as a right wing forward, whatever you want to call it. Speed's decent, acceleration is great, so he's got pretty good pace on the whole. Balance is great, it's fantastic on the ball. And then finishing 83, curl 81. So now we're in business. This guy's going to play wide right. That's where he's best. And you look at the skill set, some dribbly stuff, which goes well with his pace and his dribbling. But then he's got long range curler, and he's got one-touch passing, through passing as well. So for me, similar to Machis, really, he's a player who I think is definitely best out wide, cutting inside, getting into shooting positions, and he'll score goals for you. He's got the pace, he's got the dribbling, he's got the finishing, he's got a decent skill set for a wide right forward. So yeah, could be a pretty useful card. And then we have Luis Alberto. Again, he's been in Player of the Week at least twice before. This one's an orchestrator. It's the same kind of situation that we've had with Luis Alberto previously, to be honest. He's got brilliant technical abilities, great on the ball. His passing is fantastic. Attacking awareness is okay. It's not brilliant, but it's not bad at all. 79. Good at set pieces as well. But what you got to keep in mind with Alberto, he is slow. He's also physically weak. Stamina's not the best as well. Balance is all right. He can play centre mid, where the orchestrator playstyle will be active, and that will mean he stays back quite a bit and plays from deep. But you've got to keep in mind, not only is he physically weak and slow, he's defensively terrible. So I don't think you're going to want to play this guy as a centre mid. I think you're going to want to play him in one of his other positions, attacking midfield or SS. And if you do that, he could be very effective. You just need to be mindful of his limitations. You know, he is slow, he is weak. But, you know, you look at his skill set, long range shooting, first time shot, one touch pass, through passing. All of that goes well with his technical ability. This guy's got end product for days, so he could be super effective, but you just have to keep in mind the lack of pace and strength. If you're okay with that, it could be very productive for you. And then we have Aursnes. I've probably said that wrong, from Benfica. This is, I'd say it's pretty similar to the Danilo card, to be honest. He's versatile. He could be useful in certain positions, but I'm just a bit concerned that as a fullback, just like Danilo, he's not the quickest. And in the centre of the park, playing as a midfielder, whether it's defensive, centre mid, or attacking mid, he's not brilliant on the ball. You've got to be careful with him on the ball. You could use him in either position, to be honest. I think at fullback, I mean, you look here again. He's not got interception like with I think it was Singo we were looking at. You're going to miss interception. It's an important skill for a defender. So as a fullback, with the lack of pace as well, I don't know how effective he would be. He's right-footed as well, playing on the left. So then you look at midfield. He does have one-touch pass and weighted pass. And he's got man marking and blocker, fighting spirit. So he's got some good defensive skills. He's got outrageous stamina. So he's just never going to get tired, which is, that's outstanding, 97. His passing is excellent as well. If you're playing this guy in the centre as a centre midfielder, he could be pretty useful. You know, as a centre midfielder, his pace is suddenly okay. You know, his physical contact is all right. Balance pretty decent. Like I say, stamina outstanding. Defensively for a centre mid is all right. It's not bad at all. And the passing great, but on the ball, like I say, I think that's the one concern for me. I think where I would most likely use this guy if I got him would be as a centre midfielder. And you've just got to be careful with him on the ball because, you know, you want that to be a bit higher in the middle of the park. But outside of that, like I say, he's got some qualities. He could be useful. Maybe one of these players, you put him on the bench and he could just come on in several different positions if you need someone to come on at some point in the game. And then we've got Son, who got a hat-trick for Spurs. So they've got him down as a centre-forward and a goal poacher this time. I'm not sure if this is the best Son we've had. The first thing I noticed is that on the ball he's not brilliant. I've got a Son card, I think from the Asian Rising Stars pack, whatever it was called, quite recently. Mine's better on the ball than this, but this guy's a goal poacher, and if you look at the key attributes for that, attacking awareness 89, finishing 90, outstanding pace. He's got great pace. Balance isn't the best. Stamina's good though for a striker. If you're going to use him as a goal poacher through the middle and just get him in behind and try and slip through passes into him, those key attributes he's got for that, he could be brilliant. And you look at the skill set as you'd expect for Son. He's got first time shot, he's got long range curler, long range shooting, acrobatic finishing, got one touch pass as well, and his passing for a striker is okay. So yeah, if you're going to use him exclusively as a centre forward, getting him behind the defence, he could be really, really effective for you. The other positions he can play out wide, I don't think he's quite good enough on the ball for that, although he's not terrible. But yeah, like I say, as a centre forward, could be extremely effective, could be a really good card. And then we have Declan Rice, his first Arsenal card. Pretty much what you'd expect from Rice. Defensively really strong, he's got really good passing. Down the right is what you'd expect. He's not the quickest, but he's strong. He's got great stamina. But again, like with the Benfica lad, this guy on the ball is not brilliant. I like centre midfielders to have these attributes in the 80s. For a defensive midfielder, you can get away with the dribbling not being great, but for the ball control and tight possession to be under 80, it's just a bit of a concern. You look at his skill set; he's got a lot more skills than he used to have. He's been given more skills recently. I'm not sure which ones have been added just for this Player of the Week card, but with one-touch pass, weighted pass, low lofted pass, he's got really good passing on him. Already got 88 for low pass, remember. And then defensively, man marking, interception, aerial superiority, sliding tackle, captaincy, fighting spirit. Really good defensive midfielder, to be honest. Very, very good card. Just like I say, you just got to keep in mind he's not brilliant on the ball. You might notice that with him. But outside of that, yeah, very good defensive midfielder. And lastly, our friend Erling with another appearance in Player of the Week. And it's just what you'd expect from Erling Haaland. Attacking awareness, finishing's ridiculous at 96. Great pace, similar to Son. Physically super powerful with the kicking power, the physical contact. But the weakness, as you always get with Haaland, his balance is really low at 58. And on the ball, he's poor. He's going to be clumsy. He's going to be awkward. Like I say, it's what you expect from Haaland. It's nothing out of the ordinary. You look at the skill set. He's got all the shooting, the heading. Got one-touch pass, which will make up for the fact his passing is not the best. Got a super sub as well. So, yeah, if you're just going to get this guy into shooting positions, he is going to score goals for you. He's going to be outstanding as a goal poacher, which is the play style he's got. But like I say, you just got to be mindful of the fact that he's not great on the ball. His balance is terrible. He will be clumsy and awkward, but if you can deal with that, he's a hell of a striker. So, yeah, tremendous card. So there you go. It's interesting selection. You got a bunch of players that we've seen before. Some decent ones in there, some not so great. But yeah, hopefully you found it useful. Thank you for watching as always. I'll see you next time.